Okay, now that we've screwed that clamp all the way down, now we back it out. And if you look at the piston now, see how it's pushed in there all the way? Again, now if we got in there and pushed, if I just put a little bit of foot pressure on that brake, that piston will pop right out. And we don't want that to happen, so don't let anybody mess with the brake pedal. We're going to reinstall this. It's going to be a little bit tricky as we're doing it. Make sure your little boots there, you got some boots up here that got to be pulled through, because they'll get pinched, and then there's another one down here that has to be lined up with the bolt, because remember the bolts, we're going to put the bolts back in there. And I've got the bolts, clean bolts, make sure they're clean. Just kind of get jiggy with them as you kind of working it in there nice and easy. Make sure it's started with your fingers, don't put any tools on it yet. And then grab your other bolt, and we're going to get jiggy with it, because you got to get it underneath that boot, same way we did up here. Got to get that boot in there. That boot keeps the dirt and trash from getting on that, from the road debris from getting stuck inside that shaft of the bolt. Okay, just by hand, everything's by hand at this point, no power tools. If you want to have a problem, if you really want to have a problem, put a power tool on there at this point. We don't use any power tools until we know the threads are started by hand. Unless you want some problems, then you go ahead and use a power tool. Okay, now you can see this is going pretty good. And the bottom one's, if you can turn it by hand, okay, it's not stripped or cross-threaded. If you can turn it with your fingers, just remember that. Even if you have a socket on it, the end of it, you will not be able to turn it with your hands if it's cross-threaded. So as long as it's turned by fingers, you're good. And then you can put a socket on it. So we're going to tighten those down. And once we tighten those down, once we tighten those two bolts down, we're ready for the tire. And then we're going to do the back. The back is a little different with the piston. The piston in the back does not get pushed in with a C-clamp like it did here. And again, on the smaller vehicles, you can actually use a big pair of pliers to push that piston in. We're going to do the rears, and the piston is actually kind of got like a corkscrew setup on it, but we'll go over that. And that's going to be it for now. That's a basic front brake job, just replacing pads on an SUV. Wish you boys were here. Hope you're enjoying the Keys and New York and Dulles and all the other traveling places you go. Love ya. See ya.